Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Idahoan Show. A while ago I did a video on using a sling or lanyard that attached both above and below the grip of a pistol as a stabilizing device to help me shoot the pistol more accurately. The idea is that it's kind of like the inverse of a stock. You know, with a stock, you pull the gun into your shoulder, and that provides a third point of contact, which gives you an additional mechanical constraint to reduce motion of the gun. And then, tensing your muscles as you pull it into your shoulder also stiffens up your arms and increases the stability of your stance. And it worked well enough that I wanted to see if I could apply the same concept to stabilizing something like an AR-15 pistol. Now, I quickly found that I couldn't use exactly the same sling design to stabilize the AR as I would use with like a normal duty-sized handgun. However, I've experimented with a number of different sling configurations for my AR pistol here. I think there's a variety of sling configurations that can provide some measure of stability, but there's one particular setup that I think really captures the benefits of the pistol sling and applies it to an AR pistol. So first off, I want to show you this custom sling configuration that I've come up with, and then we'll do some testing with it and see if we can get a good measure of just how much it helps to stabilize the gun. Now, it might be tempting to call this a three-point sling because it attaches to the gun at 3 separate locations, but it's significantly different from most of the, quote, three-point slings that are already being marketed under that name, so I'm not really sure what to call this. If you've got any bright ideas for a good thing to call it, feel free to let me know in the comments. Anyway, this sling basically consists of 2 separate loops. The first loop goes from the back of the buffer tube to the base of the grip. And so this sling will go up over my right shoulder, assuming I'm shooting right-handed, and then under my armpit back to the grip. That gives me something to press out against to give me that inverse stock effect that stabilizes the rifle. However, there's always a danger of that loop, slipping down my shoulder, and it doesn't really provide a great way to carry the gun, or at least not a very secure way to carry the gun by itself. So that's where the second loop comes in, and that goes from this custom T-fitting that I made, which is about 1/3 of the way down the first loop, around my back to the front of the rifle. And so that provides me with a way to carry the gun securely, and then even when I'm shooting it, it helps to prevent the primary loop from slipping down over my shoulder. So there you can hopefully see how that all works. So the question I want to answer here today is, how well does this actually stabilize the gun, and how does it compare to popular alternatives like an arm brace, or dare we consider an arm brace that you can incidentally shoulder like a stock? Now, if you recall the testing that I did with arm braces, what we found was that an arm brace used as an arm brace really only helps for one-handed shooting, because having the gun strapped to your arm actually makes it really awkward to assume a two-handed, shooting stance, such that it actually degrades your practical accuracy, or at least it did mine. So for comparison's sake, I want to try a little bit of one-handed shooting with my sling setup here, and then of course I also want to try a two-handed stance and see just how accurate this setup is capable of being. Okay, so shooting this one-handed, looks like I'm definitely shooting a little bit low and to the left, but that's really a pretty good group for shooting an AR pistol one-handed at 25 yards. That's about maybe 3.5 to 4 inches across, so that's 14 to 16 MOA. Okay, so not only is that group centered a little bit better, but that was my standard 10-shot group, so if we throw out one outlier, we can calculate our 90% dispersion angle. If we throw that one out, that leaves us with a solid 2-inch group here, which would be 8 MOA. Well, that is an interesting result. For one-handed shooting, it seems to be pretty comparable to the brace. As I recall, I was getting about a 3.5-inch group at the same range shooting the brace one-handed with the gun strapped to my arm. But for two-handed shooting, that is considerably better than anything I was able to get shooting an AR pistol, two-handed with or without the brace in my previous test. And it's even a little bit better than what I've been able to do shooting an AR-15 carbine with a regular stock and a 16-inch barrel and a similar red dot sight from a similar offhand position. So I think I can say with confidence that as long as you've got two good hands, my stabilizing sling setup provides more stability than any kind of a pistol brace used as a brace. It provides at least as much stability as a proper shoulder stock or any kind of a brace that can be used as a shoulder stock. And it doesn't raise any legal concerns about getting your rifle reclassified as an SBR. And as an added benefit, it gives you a convenient way to carry the thing. So, as with my previous pistol stabilizing sling idea, I think even though this is kind of a simplistic invention, it's really kind of an exciting one because it actually works and it's actually practical. Anyway, until next time, thank you for watching The Idahoan Show.